Blog Talk Radio.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Jets Radio, the fan series. This series is all about the fans, talking about how you became a fan, how you enjoy being a fan, some of your best memories, your less favorite memories, and everything else. So, I'm your host, Tyson Roush. If you want to be on this, all you got to do is message us. Very, very simple. At TRoush21 on Twitter, at Talk Jets Radio on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere else. We're on YouTube, so hit us up. We'll get you on. And this one's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to bring out Mark Lee Jr., talk some football. Mark, it's Tyson. What's up, man?
Tyson, buddy, how are you?
Dude, I'm doing pretty good. How about you? How about you and your family?
Doing well, man. Doing well. You know, still working. Front lines here with the fire department in Jersey City. So blessed in that sense. It's a crazy time, to say the least.
Yeah, man, I can only imagine what you guys are dealing with, but hopefully day by day everything's getting better, I think, right?
Yeah, slowly getting back to a little normalcy here, especially here in New Jersey, tri-state area. You know, we're pretty much at the epicenter of all of this stuff here. And, 1 week at a time, you kind of see these, little things opening up. So let's just kind of get back out there if we can and, get some normalcy back in our lives here.
Yeah, man, thank you for your service. And you're right, dude. It's like we get a chance to go to the beach or a park. I'm doing cartwheels, man. Like, it's just like any little sense of normalcy, man. We're just so excited at this point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're out here running, doing things. I think they closed the parks down a couple of weeks ago, right? And that was terrible.
Yep.
You didn't know where it was going from there. But luckily they opened everything back up, and so we'll see what happens. Beaches next week. It's going to be very interesting to see how that goes. But Memorial Day weekend here this couple of days.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was at the beach all this weekend. I went up to Avon and Asbury Park, just walking around and going for a run. And for the most part, people were being responsible and social distancing. Nobody's wearing masks, but everybody kind of kept their pace. But now it's like, hopefully, with the influx of everybody from the tri-state area coming in, those kind of things will stay intact. That's the kind of the challenge, I guess. Yeah, I mean,
we'll see, because, obviously the bars down here aren't open, and, the stands aren't open. So we'll see what kind of, influx of people we get here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So, off to some football here, a little escape for us. The New York Jets, man, what made you a fan of this great green and white team?
The pain in my life? Yeah, jeez. So back in 88, maybe about 4 years old, good friend of the family, best friend of my father, Paul Nimbley. He actually passed away in the 9/11 attacks. He bought me my first jersey and a helmet. It was a Ken O'Brien jersey. And one of those like Jets helmets, it had like the styrofoam on the inside.
Yep.
So I'd be running around the house, just smashing into things, and I never looked back.
So what are some of your favorite memories, man? Because Ken O'Brien he was a decent quarterback, and then they went through a little rough patch there. You got Boomer, and then you had Chad Pennington, Richard Todd, all those guys. What are some of your favorite memories?
I mean, there's favorite memories. I mean, there's so many. You had the Monday Night Miracle. You had Bart Scott's, Can't Wait. Even Joe Namath asking for, Susie Colbert there on the sidelines for a kiss. And none of them, obviously, Super Bowl-wise, we haven't had many great seasons. But my favorite moment or memory, that entire, 2002 season was probably my favorite season as a Jet fan. You got to remember, that was like the highest of highs and the lowest of lows that season. We start off 2-5 when Herm gave that "you play to win the game" speech, and then we went on a 4-0 run there, and I think we wound up losing. Typical Jets fashion, we get things rolling, and then all of a sudden we lose to a terrible Bears team. Kind of put us back in the hole. Curtis Martin, earlier in the season that year, I think he had 2 bad ankles, and Lamont Jordan picked up the slack. But that run, and then that Week 17 against Green Bay, I was at the game for those 2 weeks, for Week 17 against Green Bay, and then we right back against the Indianapolis Colts. But that roar in the stadium when the Patriots came back and beat the Dolphins to give us a shot to win the division was something I'll never forget. And then we went on. We beat I think we beat them up pretty good, like 42-17, I believe it was. And then we wound up being the AFC division champs. So that whole week, you're riding that high. You're going in, against the Colts and Peyton Manning and those guys. But my favorite moment had to be that first touchdown. I think when Pennington hit who was it? I think it was Richie Anderson, right, for a screen pass from 50-something yards. So he took to the house. I've never heard the stadium.
We have a chance with this, and we run to the stadium. We're like, oh man, we actually have to go to this game. Like, we're gonna go inside the stadium now to watch this. And you're right, dude. That environment was crazy. And the Colts game the next week was like a big party, man. That was just, those are crazy times with the Jets right there.
Well, that was the best of the times. Those were you're riding that high after that win, beating Green Bay there. And like I was saying before, that Brett Favre comes down, scores right before half. There was like a minute and a half left. He comes down, Brett Favre, typical fashion, scores right before the half. You're like, oh, here we go. Jets are going to blow up this thing here, and we really stuck it to them. 42-17, I think the final was, of that game. AFC division champs. I remember Vinny Testaverde closing out that game. Everyone's, chanting Vinny. What a class act that guy is, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Even after the Colts, when he finally, they put him in for the Colts game. He took that final knee. He ran over, gave Herm the game ball. Just a class act, Vinny Testaverde.
So who would you consider your favorite players of all time for the Jets?
Favorite players of all time. I mean, my personal favorite, is Curtis Moore. He's my guy. And then, you have Wayne Corbett. You got, Chad Pennington, Al Toon. Those are pretty much my top. Even Sean Ellis was one of my guys for a while too. There, I'm a big Sean Ellis fan. Probably currently on the team now. Probably Jamal Adams. Perez.
Yeah, there's not a lot to choose from right now. Unfortunately, it's been a bit rough the last couple of years. so Mark, the question people always ask me, it's like, dude, what is it like being a Jets fan? And I'm like, you have no idea. It's like a roller coaster ride every Sunday for the last 20 years. It's never, you always expect the worst, you're shocked when something good happens, and never lasts for a long period of time. Like, what are your thoughts of just what's like being a Jets, what's like being a Jets fan?
Well, I mean, you hit it on the head, Tyson, here. It's a roller coaster ride, But it's one of the best roller coaster rides, in sports. If you're a Jets fan, you know what it's like. Outside of that, maybe the Mets in baseball, they've had some ups and downs themselves over there. But outside of that, it's a roller coaster ride. Like I said, that 02 season, my favorite season is one of those. You start off 2-5, then they give you a little hope, and they lose a big game, and you're like, all right, we're not going to make the playoffs, and then we go on a run. You don't know what to expect from this team. I'm kind of curious to see what we got going on here, with this, second year with Gase and Joe Douglas doing what he did in the draft here, and it's going to be interesting moving forward, especially with the camp and everything going on in the world right now. Maybe possibly no fans. It's going to be interesting.
So going into this offseason, we had a lot of expectations. Obviously, you wanted to improve the offensive line, get playmakers for Sam, maybe improve the secondary. What are your thoughts on the job Joe Douglas did?
I thought he did a solid job. The thing is, we don't know what we got, right, until we're actually out there and camp starts and stuff. And there's a few things that I agreed with that he did, and a few things that I was kind of like, I didn't really like, the James Morgan pick at the QB there at 4th round. If there was a few other guys maybe we could have went after. Cameron Clark was another guy that we grabbed in the 4th round. The offensive tackle, I thought maybe we could have went, elsewhere. Even though Ashton Davis, that in the 3rd round, maybe go back-to-back wide receivers with names. There was a few guys on the board, that we, with Chase Claypool from Notre Dame. He's a big wide receiver at 6'4". You had and one of my sleepers that I loved that actually went after, I think he went to the Redskins. He actually went after the Cameron Clark. Was the kid from Liberty, Antonio Gandy Golden.
Yep.
I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yep.
But I think the Redskins got a kid. He led the Big South since sophomore season in receptions and yards from sophomore to his senior year. So these are guys I shouldn't keep the names in my head because they're not on the team, but they're guys that I'll keep an eye on closely and say to myself, as the season goes on or the next few years, and be like, you know what, he could have been a Jet. So we'll see what happens when the season starts. But yeah, I mean, you got guys out there that we could have. Do we really need to pick a QB there at 4? I don't know. You could have gone out and got Joe Flacco there. Just to back up Sam for a season or two. There's a few guys out there that I really like free agent wise that would have fit, and maybe made our draft a little bit different. And why haven't we signed Larry Warford yet? What's going on with that? But Brian Winters, listen, I like Brian Winters, nice guy, but 4 to 7 seasons are all early, and he's due $7.2 million if we keep him. We can get Warford
here, man.
Or even jeez, you got Griffins out there. Logan Ryan, quarterback. You got the goals. You had Colvin. You got a couple guys.
So what? I agree with you. But I completely agree with you. Now, going to the wide receiver position, I could not agree more. Like, I got ripped to shreds because I was like, dude, you should have came out of this draft with 2 receivers. That was the least you should have came out of it with, and they didn't do that. Yes. And then what were your thoughts on letting Robbie go and then bringing in Perryman? Money-wise, it really didn't make much sense. I mean, for Robbie Anderson, we could have definitely kept him. I think that was his own personal choice, to be honest with you. I think he wanted to go and play with Rule and everything else. But honestly, I'm not. Perryman's got to show us obviously something, but he finished the end of the year strong for Tampa Bay. But granted, they were throwing like 50 times a game. But he's a guy where, if he steps up and shows us a little promise here, I think we can have a surprising season. You got, we got two underrated tight ends, I think, that need to stay healthy. That's the performance for those guys, especially Herndon. He's got to stay on the field. Yep. And then, you got Crowder in the middle. He's a PPO guy. He's the guy that's going to be, in the middle there. And then you have a rookie in Mims who I really like, on paper. He's a 6'3" kid. He had like the fastest cone drill in the draft. A lot of teams were high on him. But he also had a lot of drops in college. I think he had like 20 or something. But he said it was like a hand injury or something. So, but once again, it's a kid in his first year. We're going to be, if I don't know what's going on with Newell. Yeah, any news on that? The news was out, right? He's gone. Josh Bellamy's gone.
He's gone. Yeah, he's gone. So, you're gonna have Mims picking up the slack. On the number 2 on the outside here, and we'll see what we get with Perryman. I don't know if he's a true number 1 or if we're gonna have 2 twos on the outside here and with Crowder in the middle. But once again, I think we have, we beefed up this line here. We can give Sam some more time in the pocket, allow these guys to get open a little bit.
So do you think it's more like I have some concerns about the wide receiver group in general, but I think you're right with Herndon could be an X factor, Griffin that can catch the ball also, but it's a lot more on Sam to make this offense take off?
Do I think a lot more is on Sam for the offense to take off?
He broke up at the end on Gase. Yeah, so
no, it's all right. I think I don't know. Gase confused me. The fan base is all over the place. If I personally, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of his. I'm not. But then you hear guys that come out like guys I respect as players, guys that are respected in the league, like Gore came out and said that he loves playing under Gase and he's a great guy. Even Ty Montgomery, who was with us last year, came out and said that he's a very hard worker and he's a good guy. So. I don't know. I don't know what to think about him too much. I mean, he's we'll see what happens with that. But I think we're going to rely heavily on Sam. I think he's going to get a lot of if the team doesn't do well, he's going to get a lot of the blame. But what weapons did we really go out and get them? In the draft, like we said, we did one wide receiver in Mims. We got who's the one kid, the undrafted free agent that we got? I think out of 4.
Cager from Georgia.
Cager from Georgia. Yeah. I like him actually as a pickup. He's a big body. He's a big body.
Yeah, but Mark, we're being honest, dude. But are we being honest though? Like, isn't this the same shit that happened with Sanchez though? Like, we saw how Jets had like you look at other teams like Arizona or Buffalo, other teams where they're building around the young quarterbacks. Are the Jets doing enough right now for Sam?
No, I know. I don't think they're giving the kid a legitimate opportunity. I mean, outside of going and picking up the line, which they needed to give him the opportunity. Outside of that, I mean, no, because we don't have the weapons. I mean, we don't know what Perriman's going to bring to the table. And that's what I think are we relying on him heavily? Would you agree with that? That Perriman is going to be, our main guy on the outside there? Or Mims pretty much, a rookie is trying to, step up?
Yep. I agree. And that's why, it's crazy. I would have did more. Like, I'm hoping they still do more, but, I mean, it's like you got to hope Herndon stays, he stays healthy. They use Bell better. Griffin comes back. Like, Mims can be a number 2 while he's learning the game of the NFL, while he's learning how to play against press coverage, which is different than what he did in college. Yep. I mean, there's some serious question marks. And then you have to gel 4 new offensive linemen, by week 1.
Yes, exactly. They got to gel. The camaraderie there is going to. These guys aren't in training camp. You don't know what they're going to. They got to get everything down pretty quick here. But that's the thing, right? If these big boys up front can start pushing the line, and Bell can open up some holes for Bell, I think it's going to give Sam a little bit more time. Maybe defense will start loading the box to stop Bell, making Sam start throwing, especially with the wide receivers that we got. And if those guys can step up, we might surprise some people here.
No, I mean, that's ideally the goal. You like goal? Tell me you like goal.
So I know you don't. I know you're not. Listen, Gore's my guy. Okay, Gore's my guy. I don't care if he's 50 years old. Bring him on in. No. Listen, I know. It's one of those. For me, it's like this, right? He's a leader in the locker room, most importantly, and now he's a hell of a pass blocker. He might be one of the best, and I think he's going to show, Bell and the kid that we picked up, LaMichael, in the draft from
Fine. Yep. Yeah, that's interesting, dude. But what's interesting? I have to say this because this is what drives me crazy. Everybody's like, "Oh, he's a tremendous leader in the locker room. He's gonna be a great mentor." I was like, "Well, I mean, is Bell not like a great player all of a sudden? Like, we have like his work ethic is great, all this stuff. Like it's if anything, you want like a mentor for Sam. If anything."
and that's why we should have bring in a guy like Joe Flacco. He's a Jersey guy. He played close by in college over in Delaware. Yeah, no, you're right. But if you notice too, the trend. I think the last 4 picks of the draft were all guys that were captains and highly respected on their teams. They're real good guys on and off the field. I think that's the kind of trend that Joe and Gase are going for here. High quality, respected guys. But yeah, there's a lot of question marks going into this season, isn't there?
Yeah,
especially at the time. But I'll tell you one thing though. What might help us is that the NFL just came out. I don't know if you saw it. It was the strength of schedule. Yeah. So we're number 2, toughest schedule behind the Patriots. But with no fan base, that might work in our favor here.
Listen, man, I'll take any sense of positivity. I think it's usually whenever I don't know who could have in there. They still need a pass rusher.
Yes, yeah. Who did we pick up? We got the kid Jabari Zuniga, right? We picked him up in the 3rd round, Edge, the rookie, and then we signed. We just re-signed Steele too, money wise. Jenkins?
You got Jordan Jenkins. You got Poole. Yep.
Jordan Jenkins. Poole. I mean, you know, who's out there? Who can we pick up? You said I like
Everson Griffin.
Yeah, Griffin.
Yeah.
I like Everson Griffin. I know he's 32 years old, full-time Pro Bowler, coming off a Pro Bowl season last year. I'm not high on Clowney, even though you could probably get Clowney for a 1-year deal for a little bit of money, kind of prove yourself deal. But I'm not too high on him, to be honest with you.
Nope. What do you think about Logan Ryan?
I like Logan Ryan, but what's his situation? He keeps saying nothing's official yet.
Well, they're saying he wants like 1 year, $10 million. That's the rumor.
1 year, 10. I mean, I don't know. What about the kid Darquez Denard? He was a former first rounder, Bengals.
Yep.
He's a free agent, cornerback.
But see, the question is like, would you, if you have limited money, would you spend it on a Logan Ryan or a corner, or would you go after a Griffin or a Golden? To me, it's like I'm going with the pass rushers, man. Like they got enough like these veteran cornerbacks they signed. Like why? And you got Bryce Hall too in the draft. Why not go after some linemen, like some rush?
Yeah, I agree. Look, if you get after the quarterback, it doesn't matter what's happening on the outside or down the field. I think we do have in Marcus May, Adams, and then the kid that we just picked up at Ashton. I think, if Greg Williams does a great job, what he's going to do with these kids, he's going to probably put them in the best, position possible to make plays. If you're getting the quarterback and you're rushing him for time, it doesn't matter what is going on the outside. If he's running, like guys are scrambling and moving around, and you get a good rush off the outside there. Who now Tom Brady's out. We got Fitzpatrick's down in Miami. And we got Josh Allen, who's got wheels. He can run a little bit.
Yep.
We got to get after him this year.
No, so now here's the big question for you. What do you do about Jamal Adams in this contract saga, or potential saga at least?
We got to pay that man. I think we got to pay him. I know, and me and my buddies, we got a group chat going. It's called the Jets Graveyard. All the war shit, and guys go back and forth to debate. So the safety position, but he's a hybrid, right? He's a linebacker. Yep. He's all over the field. He's a big playmaker. He's the best safety in the league. But the other argument is do safeties win Super Bowls?
Yes.
It's one of those tricky things. I think we got to pay him, but I don't think we can. Do you break the bank? Do you put yourself in a hole? For the next few. You got to keep our studs, and he's a young star.
Yeah, but what hole are they going to have, dude? They don't have nobody to re-sign other than Sam. They don't have to pay nobody.
I know. Well, that's the beauty of these 1-year contracts. Guys that perform, we keep. Guys that don't, it's see you later. So. But Marcus May, he's another one. Now you got the kid Ashton. Now we have 3 safeties. But I heard the kid Ashton play cornerback a little bit.
Yeah, right? I think Ashton. I think he's like Marcus May's replacement, though, man. He's like a rangy guy. He's versatile. I think they're kind of grooming him to take. So they don't have to pay Marcus May.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I'm a big May fan, and obviously this kid has to prove himself too. I think he was a walk-on, right? Ashton.
Yep. Yeah, that's the whole thing, though. It's like I'm almost like I'm a Marcus May fan too. The man's would be because I'd like to have all 3 of them. Like, why not have like you asked before, like what safety wins a Super Bowl? You could look at Tyrann Mathieu was huge for the Chiefs. Like he was enormous.
Yeah.
Like, you're right. Like all these guys, like their safeties are so important because they're so versatile. They're in the box, they're running around, they're making plays. Like if you can keep May, Adams, and Davis. I mean, if Davis can actually play, I mean, dude, seems like it's a good way to build your defense.
That's all. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like a Troy Polamalu, he made a big difference for Pittsburgh in his years over there. Ed Reed, the playmakers. And listen, we have one in Jamal Adams for sure. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. You think it's going to get ugly?
Dude, I don't know, man. I hope not. I have a feeling it's going to be. If he doesn't get the money he wants before training camp, I think he holds out. I mean, that's just my gut feeling. I think he'll play. Like he'll probably hold out to like week 3 of the preseason and then come back. But I think it's going to be a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, I feel why the Jets always get involved? I feel we always got these situations. We had it with Revis. know, right? I mean,
Mo Wilkerson and Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, Mo. It just goes on and on and on. But it's just you know what? We're fucking Jet fans. We're just used to it now, right?
Dude, it's like every time we do these talks, man, it's like we can go on and on about all the shitty things that have happened, like the bad moment, the bad signing, the bad contract, the fumble, this, that. It's like endless moments of this shit.
It really is. It never ends. What we gotta do, though, we just gotta be patient. But
what are your expectations for this year, man? Like, but what do you think about this year? Like, are you confident this team will compete for the AFC East? Can they win 8 or 9 games? Like, what do you think?
I mean, I always try to have a positive outlook, you know. But at the same time, I want to be realistic here, and I just don't think we have the chips in place right now to be, you know, a division champion. I think we could be, you know, maybe a wild card, maybe just right outside of that, like we were saying earlier about the toughness of the schedule. But I think not having a fan base this year would probably help us. I think we got 2 games on the West Coast, and Douglas was saying that he asked for both L.A. and Seattle back-to-back so they can just stay out there. I think that'll be huge for us. If we could split one of those games, but like I said, there's no fan base. So does it take away, outside of the travel, does it take away from the home field advantage? I think it might. So now you have, you're right. So now you have that situation going on. I had us winning maybe 7 games at first. I'm hoping we can shock and maybe get 9 in there and kind of push for that extra wild card now that we got, and you know, see what happens. But I just, like I said, is, you know, what does Sam got to do here to get some weapons? Perriman, I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I do. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I hope he does. I hope he surprises a lot of people, because I've been telling people he's going to surprise a lot of people.
Yourself, man.
I am. But I do. We'll see what happens. I know he pretty much did it out in Baltimore a little bit, and then
I feel like I'm your Jets coach now. I'm trying to help you get through it.
Yeah. I don't know. To be honest, what do we have? There's nothing out there. We need these tight ends to step up. We need, you know, I think we need Bell to catch 60 balls out of the backfield. You know, 60+ balls out of the backfield this year. You know, it's gonna be real interesting. Where do you think we stand? What's your take?
Dude, I don't know. Like, I'm not the biggest Gase guy, so I have some concerns about his play calling, his game management, his ability to get all these pieces going early on in the season when they play against good teams. But I'm hoping like 8 games. I think they should be competitive every week. They shouldn't get blown out and like lose all these duds like they did last year or the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. But I guess my question for you is like, is there like, what does Gase have to do to keep his job this year, in your opinion?
I think we have to have a winning season. You know, I think if, you know, we fall short of the playoffs, but we finish, say, 500 or something like that, or a little less, I think he'll be all right. I don't know. The guy's like a cat, man. He has 9 lives. He seems
Does
to
it contingent on Sam's play, though? Or is it like we got to see a much better Sam Darnold this year? Would that keep his job, or is it just more about wins?
I think it's just more about wins. You know, I think Sam. I think it's just going to be one of those things where it's like, all right, well, listen, this is our guy. We're all in on this kid, and we got to get the pieces around him. You know, I don't think unless Sam comes out and he's throwing, you know, he has multiple turnovers in multiple games. You know, and who's the backup? It's not like we're going to sit him for anybody. He's our guy moving forward.
Yep.
And I can't, you know, I can't see them getting rid of Gase if Sam doesn't perform. I think it's more about wins, you know. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, see, I'm the complete opposite.
So?
I'm the complete opposite. Because I think it's like, if they win, say, only 6 games, but the offense is flying high and Sam's playing great, I think that buys Gase some time. But if they win 6 games and Sam's playing like shit, I think then this fan base is going to be in an uproar, and then Gase they'll have to get rid of him. They have no choice. You know, it's like,
Well,
this offense, he's brought here for the offense, man. The offense last year was horrendous.
It was. It was terrible. But also, too, I mean, how many games did Sam miss due to the mono? 3?
That's the whole thing. But, like,
right?
But can we be honest for a second, though? Like, but, dude, can we be honest? Like, the end of last season, when they're beating teams with their third-string quarterback and they're beating the second-string Buffalo team, is that really how we're evaluating this team now? Like,
no. Hey, right. I mean, you gotta have some that we gotta have some type of spark here that, you know, I think Sam is gonna step up. I think we're gonna see a big difference here. I really do. I don't think we're gonna have to worry about Sam. I think his play's gonna be fine. And then once Sam starts playing well, then we're gonna see whether it's about wins, right? Because last year when we spoke, what was a lot of the things that we had? No one was supposed to have Dallas game because of clock management.
Yep.
That's a problem for the head coach. That's not Sam's fault. You know, we shouldn't have been in that position. You know, clock management's huge, and that's, you know, but it's those things that, you know, general managers and people have to look at the head coach and be like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's true. So you ready for the real tough question? This can be a tough one for you. You ready for this one?
I'm ready for anything you got for me, buddy.
Who had a bigger impact on the New York Jets, Bill Parcells or Rex Ryan?
That is a tough one. I'm gonna go Rex.
Really?
I'm gonna say Rex had a bigger impact. Yeah. I'm gonna say Rex had a bigger impact. I think Parcells, obviously, you know, Bill Parcells. You know, he got a lot of great players and stuff, but look at what Rex did in his time in New York, and the players. He was a players' coach. The guys loved him. The defense was unbelievable during those times in Rex Ryan. He had a major impact on it. You know, moving forward, you know, obviously all that's washed now. All those guys are gone, and even the, you know, general managers and everybody's gone. But I think Rex had a little bit of an impact. But I could tell you disagree with me. I think you think Parcells.
I thought we were friends, man. Yeah, I disagree. Because I think Parcells, when he came in, this organization was a dumpster fire. We were fucking lost with Kotite, and we were just a mess on and off the field. And the minute you got Parcells in, everything changed. Credibility, organization, discipline. Like, they just went from like a laughing stock to a contender in 2 years. Where Rex kind of inherited a winning team. You know, Mangini guys, like, he kind of already set up for him. Kind of just fine-tuned it a little. I could see both cases, because then Rex won 4 playoff games. So I mean, you could see both cases. You know? That's, and
I think, you know, the right impact right away, getting the organization in the right direction. Yes, I think, you know, Parcells was that guy. But as far as like getting the job done and getting the most out of their players, I think Rex was that guy.
Yeah, I mean that's a good. Now your next second hard question is better receiver, Keyshawn or Corbett?
So back in you know, to the Jets graveyard chat, we've had this conversation a few times ourselves, and Keyshawn. I'm going Keyshawn.
Yep, me too.
I think Keyshawn is you know, might be the best wide receiver the Jets ever had. Yep. Top 3, you know.
Yep, no arguments here, dude. I get killed for it too, but he was phenomenal, dude. If it wasn't for his mouth, he was unbelievable. Phenomenal. Yeah. He was
I think he's one of those guys, you know, was a great player, and with his mouth, I mean, come on, all the top good wide receivers, a lot of these guys, you know, talk, and he was ahead of his time in that sense. And listen, don't get me wrong, I love Wayne Corbett. But Keyshawn Johnson was that guy.
Yeah, we finally agree, man. It took a little while, but we all got back on the same page.
It's all right. You know, we'll figure it out. It's all good. But Wayne Corbett, man, tough as nails, huh?
So you're going to say Revis was probably the best corner you've seen play for the Jets?
Revis for me was the best corner.
Yeah,
and Revis, my favorite. But I loved Ray Mickens. You know, I loved Ray Mickens, but my guy, obviously, the best corner that Jets ever had was Revis.
Yeah, I was an enormous Aaron Glenn fan, man. Enormous. Like, that was my guy.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn.
Just so damn fast and so physical for a little dude. It was just so cool.
Yep.
All right, so to summarize this, you're thinking 8 or 9 wins this year. You have questions about Gase, you have questions about the roster, but you have a little bit of confidence, a little bit of hope.
Listen, we're Jets fans, right? You're always going to have a little faith. You never know what's going to happen. Right? You never know. We could be, shocking the whole entire NFL, midway through the season here. But yeah, it's so tough. We don't know, and everyone's got the same advantage, right? There's no teams are practicing. New guys, rookies that are coming in and not really getting the reps and stuff that they need to kind of, get on the same page with their quarterbacks and stuff like that. So everyone's kind of starting the same page here. But I'm a little on the fence, schedule-wise with us, with the question marks that we have. I personally don't think that we're going to be, a playoff team just yet. I think we're like a year or two shy from really making a solid run if we can keep the pieces, that we have currently and everybody happy contractually. I think we'll need to, make a few more additions. And once again, we have to also see how these draft picks play out. We don't know what we got. And, there was a few, like I said, there was a few draft picks that I love, and there was a few draft picks that I feel like we could have went elsewhere to kind of fill some needs in some spots with guys that were available at that time, especially at wide receiver. But yeah, I mean, I just need football. I need football back in my life, and I don't know if being a Jets fan is going to make me happier or if it's just going to just keep me down the dumps here. I don't know. We'll see.
It's like we're going full circle, man. You're positive, then you're negative, then you're unsure, then you're positive, then you're back to unsure. We did a whole full circle here, man.
It's the truth, though, right? I mean, look, football season's going to come around, everyone's like, football's back, and then everyone's going to realize, oh my God, I'm a Jets fan. So let's see what happens. We can either have a really good season here, like I said, a few surprises, get some good victories, some really good games, or we're going to be picking 2, 3, 4, 5 in the next year's draft,
like a yearly tradition.
Yeah, I know. But listen, with Douglas, we'll see. Like I said, with these picks, if that's the case, and these picks are kind of panning out, because I haven't had faith in our picks, in our drafts in recent years. I don't do anybody's on a team in the last, 5, 6 drafts. There's no one left. Yeah. So, hopefully some of these guys really pan out. I really like the kid Bryce Hall, man. I really do. I really like the kid Bryce Hall at corner. Hopefully he could step up. And our punter, our boy, Brandon Mann.
Now we're talking punter.
So, listen, that's all we got, right? Keep our field position at some point.
Yeah, every little advantage we can get, man. So, Mark, before we wrap things up, first of all, thank you for your time. Thank you for everything you're doing as a firefighter. Definitely appreciate it. What is the best way for everybody to follow you if they want to talk to some Jets?
You can follow me on Twitter at Mark Vincent, Instagram, Mark Vincent. All the social media stuff. Maybe join the Gretsch. Yeah, then they're not going to want to talk Jets with me then. But I think that Jets football is going to be it's going to be a tough year. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see.
Mark, thanks for your time, man. I really appreciate it.
Tyson, you're the best, buddy. I appreciate you.
No problem. Have a good night, man. Thank you.
You too, bro. Thank you.
Later. All right, that was Mark Lee Jr., Jersey City Fire Department. Awesome guy. They do a lot for the community. They always giving back, so definitely appreciate the time. If you want to be on this show, all you got to do is direct message me at TRoush21, at Talk Jets Radio. We're there as well, and we will talk to you guys next time.